so I'm back with another video. This is going to be a rant video about the United States. Most people will not like this. They're going to be offended, but if you actually listen to the message of it and do your own research, then yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to offend the people of the United States. It's just, I just have to say the truth, basically. Okay, and I also have a script for this, so I'm going to be looking at it on my laptop. Well, it's not really, well, okay. So, basically, okay, let's go back to 1865. So why did it take the U.S. so long to abolish slavery? All other first world countries abolished slavery way before the U.S. You know, Britain did, and France, you know, every other country you can think of. Okay, so why did it take the U.S. so long to abolish slavery? It's because the U.S. is so capitalist, so consumerist, so egotistical, so war hawkish, so violent, so apathetic, so greedy, so stupid, or so ignorant, sorry. Willfully ignorant. It's, in many ways, a waste of space. I mean, the U.S. It does take up a lot of space in the world, and to continue slavery, war, and all that stuff is a waste of space at best. It's certainly the most anti-freedom country that I've ever seen. Any country that has to talk about freedom all the time doesn't have freedom. Any country that cares about patriotism and a flag and supporting your country no matter what cannot be anything but just garbage. I mean, not garbage, but, you know, it can't be that good if they have to just keep talking about patriotism and the American flag and the Star-Spangled Banner. That can only mean, like, if you have to talk about it that much, then you're probably insecure about it. So name me one moral or even successful patriotic country. The Soviet Union, North Korea, Israel, Hitler's Germany, the United States. All these countries are unsuccessful even in their stated goals, and they didn't even set good goals in the first place. The U.S. prides itself on being the best military in the world, and it's at least the richest military in the world, or the most well-funded in the world. But anytime a war is about to start, the military, all the main military generals and the president, whoever it is at that time, and all the U.S., or not all the U.S. senators, but many U.S. senators say, basically in unison, this is going to be easy. We'll be out of Iraq in 6 weeks after we smash them into smithereens. But the Iraq War has been going on for, I don't know how many, 13 or is it 14 years now? And it's still going on, by the way. And Afghanistan is in the same boat. So even in the attempt to attain completely immoral, completely barbaric, completely greedy goals of having a ferocious military and destroying the Middle East, the U.S. military has completely and utterly failed. The United States can't even defeat Iraq or Afghanistan. Either the United States wants perpetual war, or it has just a really crappy military that can't even beat pretty small countries, Iraq or Afghanistan, who they don't have that much funding for the military compared to the United States. It's much lower. The U.S. is a failed country because it didn't try to be a country in the first place. It revolted against the British so that the rich colonists wouldn't have to pay tax on their precious tea. I don't know how anyone could be patriotic about the American Revolution. What's special about forcing colonists... what's special about forcing poor colonists to fight the... Okay, so basically... Hold on. Back up. Hold on, I'm gonna get a drink. Okay, so anyway, many of the colonists who came to the United States were rich when they came to the United States from Britain. However, a lot of poor British people wanted to escape the king, and also it was a pretty serious crime to be poor and homeless in Britain at that time. So they were allowed to come to the United States to seek a new life. Religion wasn't really as much of a big deal. But anyway, so what's special about forcing poor colonists to fight the British so that the rich colonists could drink tea tax-free? It's not special because the U.S. has done that for its entire history, starting wars over money and oil and forcing the poor to fight the wars. The last time the U.S. was attacked, technically, was during World War II. But even in World War II, the head of Japan at that time warned the United States months in advance that, okay, the United States basically had naval ships in Japanese water, and the Japanese said, we'll retaliate if you don't take your ships out of our territory, which the United States would do the same thing. So when the Japanese, they warned the United States months in advance, and the United States didn't do anything, so then Japan retaliated. They didn't attack the United States, they retaliated in defense, because Japan didn't want to get attacked by the United States. So the Civil War was started over money too. Slavery was all about money. Change can't happen in any other manner or way, really. Money is everything. In the U.S., as in every capitalist state, change only comes with war and a changing method of money acquisition. So there's really nothing united about the United States. The U.S. has never been united about everything. The genocide of Native Americans under a united America, slavery, Jim Crow laws, all the racial segregation, the war on drugs, the internment of Japanese Americans during World War II, and the mass incarceration of millions of Americans, with a disproportionate number of them being African American. NSA spying, police brutality, and let's call it what it is, police murder, and much more. So even in an attempt to destroy the world through war and genocide, the United States the United States rich has both succeeded and failed. They've pretty much wiped out the Native American population. They've killed millions upon millions of people all around the world, and which also the United States has been at war, I think for 224 out of 240 years it has been in existence. And they've pretty much single-handedly destroyed the environment, starting in the early 1880s with the Industrial Revolution. Well, that wasn't the start, but that really sped up climate change. Yet the wars go on. If their goal was to enslave the populace without the people realizing it, then up to this point they've done a pretty good job. People are starting to wake up, though. Will they revolt? So, Bernie Sanders, he was like a social democrat. He, in many ways, represented revolution that the people were seeking. And only by Hillary Clinton and her camp cheating, Bernie Sanders lost. So will the people revolt? Well, and also Trump ended up winning, which in many ways people voted for Trump just to prevent Hillary and basically the establishment from getting in there. Even though Trump's part of the establishment too, because he's been rich his whole life, just conservative, whatever. So will the people revolt? Probably not, even though this revolution would be a worthy cause. Not necessarily a violent revolution, but, a political revolution and possibly an economic revolution, which is what the rich people, elites, political elites, economic elites, whatever, they all fear that, both Democrats and Republicans. So like, boycotts or something. And one big way to combat the rich people is to buy local but the thing is, one of the biggest catalysts for climate change and one of the biggest ways that rich people make money is through through meat, dairy, and eggs. Meat, dairy, and eggs. There's no other way to put it. The animal agriculture industry, as I call it, is, factory farms, even, farms of, chickens, cows, pigs, etc. That even hold on, there's a plane. Even the farms of, where they, the farms of the cows, chickens, and pigs and everything, even if they're not factory farms, they're really just as bad. They contribute more to climate change than anything else the animal agriculture industry does. And also, corporations make so much money on that, which part of it is because the government subsidizes that industry. They give, I believe, billions of dollars a year to that industry. So the biggest way that you can make a change and actually oppose the economic elite and, the rich millionaires and billionaires, as Bernie Sanders would say, is to go vegan and to stop buying corporations' crap, essentially. So, in a nutshell, I know this video is pretty long, but in a nutshell, the United States government, for its history, has just gone to war, has just stolen stuff from the people, has just taxed the people and not given them what they need. At least if we were paying taxes, and then we would get universal health care like all other first world countries, and raises in the minimum wage at least to be chained to inflation, for all wages to go up, for universal college, all those would really help. But they don't want to do that because if they give an inch, then the people are going to actually want their taxes to go to real things. So what I'm saying with this is not that the people are the problem necessarily. The main problem is the U.S. government and rich people, because they're in power. They're the ones who are perpetrating wars and all this stuff. But we as people can make a change. We can make changes to oppose these rich people and the government and everything. Another thing that you could do is just to move out of the United States if you have the economic capability. I know most Americans don't have that capability. They have to work in the United States, or it takes a long time to get a green card or whatever you call it, to move to Canada or whatever. But anyway, basically the point is, you can oppose the U.S. government by especially buying local, going vegan, other things too. I will talk about those things in another video. If you liked the video, comment, comment what you think. If you disagree, I'll have a discussion in the comment section. You can just, comment and just say, I don't care if you just call me stupid or something. It doesn't matter. I'll respond to it. But yeah, subscribe if you like the channel. I'm going to be posting about other stuff. One video a day at least for the rest of 2017. Hopefully forever, really, because this is what I like to do. This is what I might like making videos about. I know this channel is not big at all right now, but thank you for watching, and yeah, talk to you later, I guess tomorrow,